Here are the 3 ways that police are going to test you to determine whether you're over the legal limit in Canada. Number 1, they're going to do a roadside breathalyzer test. This happens in the vast majority of cases, but the interesting thing about the roadside breathalyzer test is it's not actually admissible in court to prove what your blood alcohol level was. The roadside breathalyzer test results are actually only admissible for the purposes of showing that the officer had grounds to take you back to the police station to do the later type of testing. The second way that police officers will test your blood alcohol concentration in Canada is using what we call an approved instrument. This is a big breathalyzer, usually located at the police station, and the police have to take you there and you have to provide 2 samples. The 2 samples have to agree within 20 milligrams of each other. The samples have to be at least 15 minutes apart. They have to be using an alcohol standard to check the internal calibration of the machine at the time that the samples are provided. There have to be blank tests to ensure that there's no residual alcohol remaining in the sample chamber, so it's not testing the alcohol standard and adding it to your breath test at the same time. So there's all these protocols to try and guarantee the reliability of the sample, although a lot of those things can fail or not be done correctly. And the third way, the least common way that you would see a blood alcohol level tested in Canada is using a blood sample. This usually only happens in cases of accidents because the police officer can't just demand blood. In most cases, the police don't have the right to ask for your blood sample, and they can only ask for it if they're of the opinion that it would be impracticable to obtain a breath sample, either due to your medical condition or your physical condition. And there's also whole sorts of procedures and policies that they have to follow in order to actually make the demand for you to provide a blood sample in the first place. So very rarely will you be asked by police to provide a blood sample. All of these tests are mandatory in the sense that if the police officer asks you to do them, you are legally obligated to comply with the officer's demand. And unless that demand is not valid, a fact that you can't probably determine at the roadside or in the course of the investigation, then it's a criminal offense to refuse to comply. So if you're asked to provide a sample of breath at the roadside, a sample of breath at the police station, both, or a sample of blood, make sure that you comply with the demand. Your lawyer can always sort out for you down the road whether or not that was actually a valid demand.